Yo, what's going on? This is the Uppercase J, aka Benedict Jackson, aka Nobody Important. And on this video, you're going to see my old gamer tag, Jackavelli. You might see it pop up on the screen 30, 40, 50, 60 times. I don't know. But I know what you're thinking when you saw the title. Does it even matter? Doesn't matter who wins E3. I could go a couple of directions with that. Initially, I was going to make this video and I was going to say that it doesn't matter. All that matters is that the companies actually succeed and have a good show. Not necessarily beat the next company, because I think that they do kind of obsess over what the other one's doing. E3 is, for the last 4 or 5 years, it has not been about the games. It's been about them worrying about what the next person's doing and them trying to one up them, because it's so important. Excuse me, hiccup. It's so important who wins and who loses E3 and the perception that it gives your brand, apparently. And everybody wants to avoid it because they think that it has this massive impact on sales, which it really doesn't. It kind of has a little bit. It's for the sheep. You know, if somebody wins E3 and that's the general consensus, then you'll have people that'll buy a console because of that. Whatever, who cares? For me, it's more about succeeding, because you can win E3 but not necessarily look good, or you could win E3 and not necessarily do that much better than the second place company. For example, if Xbox completely shit the bed at E3 somehow, if they announce Scorpio for being $600, if it's a $600 console with a whack name and push back to the first quarter of 2018, and there's still only 3 or 4 exclusives coming out for it that's going to be on PC too somehow, that's an underwhelming conference that most people will give a C or D. You know, if the third-party games ain't looking no better on Scorpio than they do on PS4 Pro, then that's an underwhelming show. If you gave it a D, for example, and then Sony do their show, and theirs isn't that much better, all the games that everybody look forward to, like God of War, Spider-Man, Last of Us 2, things like that, Days Gone, if those games were pushed to 2018 and they just had like a couple of exclusive games, or just they focus on exclusive content for these third-party games, it would be underwhelming. If there's no price drop for the PS4 Pro, it'll be underwhelming. But you'll give it a C because they still have some games to show. So a C is better than a D. Would you run around and go in these Facebook groups and pound your chest talking about Sony is the best, greatness, all that? No, it's nothing to brag about. You won, but you sucked. You sucked. So what does it matter? And on the other end of the spectrum, if Sony had an A+ and Microsoft had an A, they both killed it. But Sony had that one little extra thing. Both of them was knocking it out the park, man. Scorpio was $399. PS4 Pro dropped their price to $300. Xbox had a bunch of surprise exclusives, and Sony, they surprised you. Last of Us 2 come out in July. Like something crazy like that. Everybody just hitting home runs out the park. But Sony had that one little extra thing. Then that put them at A+. Would you go in these Facebook groups? Would you make these YouTube videos? Oh my God, Sony's best, Microsoft swag, the garbage. No, it don't matter. If State of Decay 2 was somehow, if it ended up being a blockbuster, like, you can't believe the amount of content they put into this game and how amazing it looks and how amazing it plays. And it gets like 50 Game of the Show awards. But then Days Gone gets like 55 Game of the Show awards. You go turn around and compare them and be like, oh man, Days Gone is the best game ever and Xbox sucks. Like, what the fuck? I mean, would it matter? Would it matter? It'll be, in my eyes, 2 dope games on 2 dope consoles. Whatever the case is, what if the Mario game turned out to be the best game at the damn show? You know, then what? You know, but that's why it's more, for me, it's more about these companies succeeding. I want everybody to have a good show because that means more games, more enjoyment for me. But let me flip this over. Does it even matter who wins E3? Because no matter what anybody does, the only way that someone who prefers Xbox will claim that Sony won is if Xbox completely shit the bed and you just cannot deny how good Sony's show was, and vice versa. The only way a Sony gamer is going to acknowledge that the Xbox brand won E3 is if Sony completely shit the bed. You can't even argue it, and Xbox did a good job. And even then, because I've seen this before, I've seen it where brand loyal people were disappointed in their particular brand, but they couldn't bring themselves to say that the other brand won the show. So they just focus on how the other one disappointed them. But then they still keep saying that, oh, well, I don't like if Sony shit the bed, they just say, I don't like Xbox. I just don't like it. I'm not into it. I'm so disappointed in Sony. So you avoid comparing because you don't want to acknowledge that, you know, the other side won. Excuse me. So that's why I think it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Ask yourself that question. What do you like more? Do you like Xbox more? Do you like Nintendo more? You like Sony more? Doesn't matter. When was the last time you said another company won? When's the last time you said it? When's the last time you, Xbox gamer, have said that Sony won E3? Hey, Sony guy, when's the last time you acknowledged that Xbox had a pretty good show? When? Nintendo? PC guys? Somebody step up? Can somebody speak up, please? Nobody? That's what I thought. It's rare. It's not going to happen. E3 for me can be gauged by your average gamer who's not invested. They're not in all of these groups. They're not all on YouTube. None of that stuff. They just play their games. They might like one console over the other. I've even seen it with people that only game on Xbox and not Sony, and vice versa. I've seen this happen. But they just have their preference and that's what they do, but they're not into the whole, this one's better than that one, your console sucks, my console rules. Grade school shit. They don't sit in front of the TV when E3 is on, like it's the NBA playoffs, with their bowl of popcorn in their foam hand, saying we're number one. They don't do it. These people sit and watch the show, and the console that they have, they're watching it to see what's coming out that I can get this year or within the next year. What do I have to look forward to on this console that I love? And then miraculously, what they also do is watch the other conferences. Not to shit on them, not to find something wrong, but to see if there's something on there that can convince them to get that console too. It's a beautiful thing when E3 works the way it's supposed to work. And it only does this with people who are not invested emotionally in this bullshit. Does it matter who wins E3? Maybe to you. But you're not the average person. The average person is not checking for it like that. The average person is not. The average person is just going to, you know, click on the headlines. They will click on their feed on Facebook. If somebody posts a link to something, they're going to check out the games that they like. Their friends are going to hit them up and say, hey, did you hear the such and such games coming out? That's where they're getting their information. And then they're going to peep what's going on elsewhere on consoles they may not have or that they may not game on that much. They're going to look at them and they're going to say, oh, that game seems like it's kind of interesting. Maybe I'll get such and such when the price drop. Or, oh man, they got like 4 or 5 games coming out, man. I'm gonna have to go ahead and save up my money and get this console. That's what E3 is all about to me, man. Y'all can keep that bullshit video game playoffs to yourselves. And look at me on the leaderboard. I'm killing shit, man. That's the old throwback though. But I'm out, man. It's the Uppercase J, aka Benedict Jackson, aka Nobody Important, man. I'm gone.